if you've done your due diligence, God will be faithful. But 2 months is just too brief.
I was going to add just a little bit to that, the scriptures clear. It says love is patient. So if this guy is dating you and he's sure you're the one, he needs to be willing to wait for you. And I think that, yes, sometimes, especially for ladies, there's so much pressure. But even guys, by the way, there's weird pressure for guys. We'll get to that sometime. But when you're under pressure, you are not making the decision for you. You're making the decision for them. And whoever the them is, it might be 10 people, it could be the whole world. But guess what? When you say I do, it will just be the two of you in this marriage.
Yeah.
So it is dangerous for you to make a decision based on what the them are saying or doing. Because when you're in the bed alone, when you're in your house with your husband, the them will not be in the house with you. And so it's and there is pressure. By the way, you did mention that it seems easier for a guy to just say I'm going to. Well, the truth of the matter is this, that I think that the way God has designed men and what makes us men or as leaders is the desire to, men are goal driven. Okay, I see the girl I want to marry. So even in 2 weeks I'll tell her, I want to marry you, or as in that it's it. I work with the end in mind. Get married. Now, while for the ladies, they are more oriented by the process. Give me some time. And the guy's like, girl, I know what I want. As in, make your mind up already. And the ladies are like, no, you know what? That is actually one of the reasons why most times, many ladies, and I had this experience on a small extent, the guy likes the girl and he says, will you marry me? And what will the ladies say? Give me some time to think.
To pray.
Yeah, many of them already know the answer before. The to pray is more like a delaying tactic. It's let me make him suffer, kind of thing.
That is not for everyone.
But the point is, the thing is that the ladies enjoy the being chased, and there's nothing wrong with that. I share this so that people on both sides of the coin understand that, gentlemen, we need to be understanding why a lady needs time, because they need time to walk the journey. They need time to walk the process. But also, ladies, when a guy says, don't think, oh, you guys, what's so wrong with you? You just only got to know you. What? No, understand that it is in his makeup. It is in his makeup, in his person, in his manhoodness that he's goal oriented. He's like, seen a babe, want this babe, marry this babe. And so from that moment he will work out the process. By the way, let me say this, that by the time a guy comes and asks a girl out or to get married, the truth of the matter is this, 90% of the guys, they will have at least 3 other guys that know, and that will most likely not have been the first time he tried. Most times most guys will have tried one, and maybe this is not the right time, because they are driven by the target, the goal, and so by the time a guy, okay, of course there are players. Players will ask any Mary Jane in a skirt out, anytime. But if it's a serious guy, by the time a guy asks a girl out, and I say this so that girls do not take serious guys asking lightly, because by the time a guy has actually asked you, he's probably told 1 or 2 of his friends, says, guys, I am going there today, please have my back, hope that everything works out. That's number 1. But number 2, he has also most probably tried once or twice before and not been successful. Maybe the timing was wrong or something like that. So ladies, do not take it so lightly, but also guys, we need to understand when ladies ask for time.
This is a conversation that will continue off air. I just had things that I realized I don't know the answers to. But I think that 2 months, if we were talking about a relationship that has been going on for a while, it would really be understandable. But for somebody to meet someone and after 2 months put them on pressure, the element of pressure is even unfair.
Even if the manhood is acting this time.
Yes, it's unfair. It's even unhealthy.
No. I think you're misunderstanding. What I'm saying is,
you're right.
I'm not saying that I need to. I'm not saying that it's right for the guy to put you under pressure, but it is. I think it is healthy for a guy to let you know his intention, whether you're going to start dating or not. Say, listen, hey, this is my intention, and I think that can even happen on day 1 or day 3.
Absolutely.
But of course, when the guy starts, make a decision. Now that one is.
That's something else.
That's something
well, what's
else.
your rush? Well, what are you hiding? What's your rush?
Well, I have questions here. Someone says, I've always had this little voice about her. I've prayed, fasted, and still it's the same. What do I do? Okay, what is it saying? But you say, because I fear she's in another class and want to save myself from future embarrassment. Okay, he wants to try probably asking her out.
This exactly. That's kind of what I've been trying to say. That this guy sees this lady and he's probably thought, I want to, but I, and I guess the guys, hey, listen, that is something that you cannot run away from. You will not always know the future. Okay, the future is always it is in God's hands. And being in another class, hey, listen, those are labels that this world gives. The issue, what's most important here? Are you interested in this lady? Does she look like the person who you could spend the rest of your life with? And then number 2 is, does she also reciprocate? Hey, because you see, the thing is this: you don't just date someone just for the sake of dating. I can't go out on a date with someone who is not interested in me.
True.
She needs to. So, and I know of guys who have struggled with this. There are guys who have set their eyes, and I'm like, okay, brother, I will pray for you. But that one, my prayer for you is God prepare his heart so that when the rejection comes, he will take it well. And I think that we've also got to be serious.
No, please. Let me just say, please. You can never know where it's going to go. Yeah, and you will never know unless you try.
Yes.
And if this woman is godly, I mean, we're talking about Christians here. If this woman is godly, then she will be kind about how she lets you know. She won't make you feel like a fool for asking, but you will never know unless you ask.
Exactly.
And every time that a man chooses to make you the object of his affection, it is a privilege. And young ladies should take it as that. It is a privilege, whether he's short or tall, rich or poor, ugly or beautiful, which is relative in your eyes, or whichever tribe he's, dark or light, whatever he is. It is always a privilege for one human being to make you the object of their affection. And if somebody has the courage to come to you and ask that you reciprocate or consider reciprocating their affections, that it is kind, it is honorable, it is beautiful to appreciate their affection and to let them know kindly and easy that you're either in or you're not in. And hey, there are some people who've gotten no's. I mean, have you seen the Coke ad? 33. How many times did that guy try? There are those that you try the first time and you fail, you try the second time, you fail, and the 10th time, that's the magic time. So
I know a guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a man of God.
Don't mention.
He preaches the preaching of God's word. This guy, I think he asked 3 years. The girl kept saying no. I think she said no about 10 times. I'm like, yikes. But guess what? They're married, they're happily married, and they have children, and hey, so sometimes no.
We're not encouraging stalking, by the way. We're just saying that you'll never know unless you
Yeah, you
ask.
try.
Yeah.
Now, and this one, Gaetano says, thank you for the show. My question is that what does the Bible say about dating? I think we've talked about that. And what if the person you dated for a couple of years starts acting strangely when you're planning to take things to another level? Maybe introducing probably to your parents. What if they start acting strangely, or they don't specify the strangely? Do you break it off? Do you continue? Do you go for counseling?
Look, counseling is always a good thing. Mentoring is always a good thing. Having couples around you that you can walk with, but dating is not marriage. You know, in saying I'm seeing this person and we are working towards having a committed relationship, you've not tied yourself down. At any point, either one of you can walk away, and either one of you reserves the right to do that. We must honorably and kindly, but you know, until the two people exchange their vows, either one can walk away justifiably. Yeah. So people becoming strange or changing the way they relate with you, or seeming like something is going on, these things do happen. They happen. I believe that if you leave room for God to order your life, order your steps, and manage your relationships, God will protect you. Yeah. And that means sometimes that is a blessing in disguise. Sometimes God knows. I always tell people that God sees the end from the beginning. He knows that, you know, should you settle down with this person in the next, you know, in 5 years after you've had bliss for, you know, for 4.5, in the 5th year something will happen and you will be irrevocably hurt, you know, and God helps you and stops that, you know, from happening today, before you even make the commitment. So I believe that if you leave God room, sometimes even in somebody choosing to walk away from you or beginning to act strange, God is protecting you from some unknown something in the future. So I never see a breakup as, you know, it's the end of the world. Oh dear, what has this come to? We're never too old to find love. We're never too old to find our soulmates. So if the relationship comes to a sad end, you know, you move on and break camp and move on and we expect, you know. But that's not to say that every time somebody is behaving strangely, then the relationship is going to end. One of the pillars of having healthy relationships is communication. You must be able to communicate. So if your friend seems to be behaving weirdly, seems to be, you know, off, you know, then the first thing to do is to pray and commit it to God, because you don't know, but He knows. And then the second thing is to wait for an opportunity to bring it up in conversation. What's up? Are you okay? You seem a little off. You seem a bit strange. Is everything fine? I'm feeling insecure about your behavior. Are we okay? Are we in a good place? You need to talk. And hopefully that communication will yield satisfactory answers, so you know which direction to go.
They say when you say we need to talk, it scares men. Rev J, is that true?
Yeah, man, we need it. It's like, remember when in primary school when you got your book, the teacher writes, "See me." Yeah. You wish you know that was. So when some lady says we need to talk, it's like, see me, you know. It's not an easy thing. It's very complicated. I was going to say this, and I don't know. Allow me to say this. Something that I have seen, and I really, really say this with all graciousness. And dating, one of the dangers that I've seen that happens so much when people start dating, is this. Let me use the context. If you've watched, like National Geographic and stuff like that, when you see a herd of wildebeests or giraffes, or giraffes, any herd of cattle, whatever it is, they're out grazing. And when they're in the bush or in the herd, they are usually safe and they go about their business. And there's always the prey. There's maybe the lion or the cheetah somewhere. And what is very interesting is that the cheetah does not look for the fat bull which is in the middle of the crowd. It always looks for that one which is straying out, going to the boundaries, distancing themselves from the crowd. And that is usually the one it targets. Even when it tries to run back into the crowd, the animal has zeroed in on this thing and it is going to chase it. Why? Because it was distancing itself. It started pulling out from the crowd. Now, this is the danger. Many times in our congregations, in our churches, when people begin to date, that is the very mistake they do. They start pulling away from fellowships. It is me and my time, alone time. And you see, with so and so. And you see, once you begin to pull away from the crowd, you begin to expose yourself for the devil to hit you.
True.
And many times, I'm telling you, there are very many couples who will fight and break up over issues. Why? Because they're dealing with it by themselves. And they have exposed themselves. Why? Because they moved away from the fellowship, because they moved away from the church, because my wife says exclusive dating. We have an exclusive relationship, and they have less time for fellowship, or if they come late, they leave early. It's just, and many times those are relationships that end up broken, or they hurt each other. I'm not saying that when you're in the crowd you never get hurt, but you see the same principle. The cheetah or the lion will most likely or will least likely run for the limping bull which is in the middle of the crowd, because there is safety in the numbers. And the devil, once he knows that I am surrounded myself with healthy men or women, one of the things I thank God that we have experienced at the cathedral this past year is we decided to start up a fellowship of people who were seriously dating. So there is a fellowship of dating couples, and in the space, they're not perfect, but I will tell you this, that in the space of 1 year, to my knowledge, I've seen only 2 breakups. And even the 2 breakups, they are trying to work things out and they're restoring their relationships. And it's not because we are special in any way, but it's because in the group we are holding each other accountable. Because these guys are dating one another. They say, you guys, how do you handle this thing? Man, how do you guys handle the pressure of like, I want to kiss the cheek, and she just as in like, I am tempted. And the guy's like, I tell you also me, I feel. And you encourage one another. And the guy's like,
me, I feel.
Then the other one is like, the guy is asking me for marriage, but like, man, precious. She's like, let me tell you my pressure. And there's a way, there is a support system around you.
Sure.
And that keeps you going. Can I encourage anyone listening that once you begin, yes, there are moments for your time together alone, but remember that even that moment alone, you have to be careful. Don't run away from the fellowship. The farther away you run from the fellowship, the farther away you run from accountability, the farther away you run from answering to other people and asking them to pray with you and for you, the more you are exposing yourself to the enemy. I think that's why Hebrews talks about, he says, Hebrews 10:24-25, he says, and let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds. And let's not give up the habit of meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, and all the more as you see the day approaching. It is encouraging us to be together, not just the 2, but even the 2 within the context of the many. And because there you find encouragement, there you find support. Think about it this way. If I'm dating a lady who is being 2 faces, when she's with me, she's acting up, and the other side she's not, then my other friend who meets her their side will say, Rev J, that one you're going out with, because I may not be able to see the full person, but because when she's with me alone, she acts up. The reverse is true. Or I may look at this and I begin to complain, but how about this lady? She's this. And the guy will say, Rev, what's wrong with you? Do you know you're not seeing this? You're not seeing this. You're not seeing this. Why? Because you're in the fellowship of believers who are looking out for the good. So my encouragement for those who are dating and those who seek to date, it is okay to date, but it has got to be purposeful. It has got to be, there's an aspect of maturity, and then there's an aspect of accountability. Do not run away from the groups. Do not run away from the crowd. Love is patient. Love is kind. And the last thing, I'm saying, this is my third last thing. The last thing for me would be it's about commitment. It is commitment. What that means that we will not run at the first sight of trouble. Okay, if I am committed to this and say I am committed to this relationship, I want to see it work. There will be hard times. There will be times we do not understand each other. But again, that takes me back to what I just said. The support of friends and accountability partners will keep me moving because they understand my goal. They understand my hope, my desire, what I'm chasing, what I'm pursuing. And so they can encourage me on and say, hey man, it's just keep on keeping on. Because I am committed, because I've told them, listen, I am committing to this babe and I want to stick by this commitment. But hey, babe is hard to understand, babe. She just doesn't get me. The guys will say, okay, you know what? Let's pray together. Why? Because of the commitment you made. So there's commitment. Commitment is only commitment when you have opportunities to break the commitment.
Oh, wow.
A commitment, if there is no stress, then you can't test your level of commitment.
Sure.
You only test the level of your commitment in the face of
Scarcity. Monica, one last word.
Oh my, haven't I given everything?
Just
I can only
one
pray.
to wrap up.
I can only pray that God will teach us. God will teach us to love Him more and to love those around us. That we will not undertake any dealings with other human beings carelessly. God treasures every single human being that He calls His own, and we must learn to attach value to other human beings the way God attaches value to them. I can only also pray that God will teach us to mature and teach us to hear His voice, and when He tells us to go, that we will go in confidence and that we will trust Him. And I pray that God will protect us, dare to entrust the decision to pick a mate to Him, dare to risk and leave that decision in His hands, and God will surprise you pleasantly. He will never disappoint. If you leave that decision in His hands, He will never disappoint. He will come through.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rev J Monica. Everest here says, I've enjoyed the show. This week is one of the greatest in my life. I'm learning and growing. James says, I'd like to say thank you, Rev J, for sharing tonight. I don't wish to stop listening to education tonight. And says, one thing I have learned to slow down and let the lady take her time to study me if she wishes to do so before she can give me her word. Oh, I love that. And well, thank you so much. It's been very, very educative tonight. Well, you can't exhaust these things, right?
No.
Absolutely
But
not.
we'll definitely do this again.
Thank
Would
you.
love to have you again.
Thank you.
Maybe on another platform, maybe on this platform.
Who knows?
Who knows?
God knows.
Well, thank you very much, Monica, Rev J. And this is Nightfall on Power 104.1 FM, your station that is all about love. This is Nightfall. My name is Anne. More music coming up in the next hour. Maybe your questions, more counseling, and the talk still goes on the whole week. You can call us on if you have questions that you don't want to ask here, probably you want to ask in a more private way. 0776 260 071 or 0756 260-071. It's Power on 4.1 FM, your station that is all about love. Nightfall. My name is Anne.